A lot's happened over the last 3 years. My content has reached over 5 million people all around the world. I've had my most successful year in business to date, and I spent like a year of the last 3 years traveling. And I also managed to swing a road trip around Iceland in a van for free. And the craziest thing is that I achieved all of this by doing nothing. Now, of course, I'm going to have to unpack that and explain how doing nothing led to those things happening for me. But first, I'm going to make some tea. So for the longest time in my life, I was under the impression that in order to achieve anything of greatness, I would need to hustle and be tired and be the guy that says, oh, I can't do that, I'm busy. Well, over the last few years, I've come to realize that maybe that isn't actually true. In fact, it's not true. I would define nothing as something that's not directly contributing to a goal. So right now, I've just gone for a walk, I'm sitting in a forest, and even though on this particular occasion, I am recording a video for the YouTube channel while I'm in the forest, I typically don't film YouTube videos in the forest. I don't know if I was in the shot there. It's kind of far away. We were in shot. In order to give you some more context, this premise of the art of doing nothing, I need to tell you about my earlier attempts at business and entrepreneurship. See, I used to really like the idea of being busy and working all of the time. I guess I got the idea from movies or YouTube videos around hustle culture and, you gotta rise and grind and all of this stuff. At that time, I was doing loads of things, but nothing was really happening. And one time my mother even said to me, David, I think you're working too hard. There I was thinking, well, it's cool to be perceived in that way, but I have no clients, I have no revenue, and all I've really done is change the font on my website like 3 times a day because that's the only actionable thing I can think to do, but there's no point in having a website with cool font if no one even visits your website. And so there's only so much we can do relating to our business or relating to whatever it is you're striving toward in life. But knowing what to do and what's going to be most effective for the result that you desire is a whole other kettle of fish. Being busy seemed cool, but it wasn't useful. It wasn't helping me make money. It wasn't helping me have a life filled with purpose because I wasn't serving anyone. And that's ultimately what I've found to be the whole point of my existence, is to serve in some way, shape or form, be it through creativity, be it through offering a service, which in my case is creative as well. But what I've since realized is that rather than working on my business and getting no return on my investment of time, I could have just been doing nothing instead. And ironically, that would actually have progressed my business and increased my revenue and inspired all sorts of new ideas that I wasn't able to think of because I was too busy doing things. And I know that that doesn't make sense to the mind. I just want to assure you that this isn't one of those law of attraction, do nothing, just sit and visualize your dream life type of videos. Because I've tried that too, and it didn't work. I wouldn't personally recommend it. But there's an unforeseen consequence of doing nothing, such as going for a walk or having a cup of tea, and that is the quietness of the mind through which the muse or the inspiration for your groundbreaking idea or next action point comes in. To do nothing is when my best ideas come into my field, and it's from that place of nothingness that they enter, and then it's my responsibility as the human to take the idea and do something with it. When people ask me what I do, I don't really have the most straightforward answer a lot of the time, and there's this joke that I'm always working, air quotes around working, because I'm not really working per se. I've just gotten really good at doing nothing, and then occasionally when I'm acting upon the inspiration that came in the space of nothingness, that's when I'm working. So it's a very intentional approach to life and business, and a lot of my time is spent doing things that I just like doing or that aren't necessarily pushing me closer to a goal in a direct sense. But then in like a long-term sustainable game, it's generally pushing the business in the direction that I want it to go. Having said that, when it comes to the art of doing nothing, it's important to have a project or a goal or intention that you're working towards, because naturally when you're doing nothing and you're aware of these bigger pictures in your mind, the nothing that you're doing is just going to allow certain thoughts or certain things to come into your awareness in that context. So in my example, I make a lot of content as part of my brand. So that involves YouTube videos, that involves newsletter. And back in the day when I began doing this, I was actively trying to come up with ideas for content. And sometimes I would just not have any ideas, and I would get so frustrated, and I would be afraid that I was going to run out of ideas, that I would never be able to continue my artistic path. For a while, I just had to surrender to that. I had to accept the possibility that maybe I wouldn't have any more ideas and that I couldn't make any more videos or I couldn't write any more music. That was about 3 years ago, since I accepted that it's possible that I'm not cut out for this. I've written probably around about 100 songs. I've never actually sat down intentionally to write a song. They all just pop into my head at points, or lyrics will pop into my head, or melodies, and I'll just make them. I've made over 300 videos across all different platforms, and I've never sat down for a brainstorming session, ever. I just have ideas pop into my head when I'm doing nothing, and then that's the thing that I know I need to do. But it comes from a space of nothingness. So I might be out and about walking and then think, oh, make a video on the art of doing nothing. That's how this one came to be. And that's where all of my creativity stems from these days. That's how all of my ideas, like even with my agency, I have a video agency, we do video production, editing work. One of my main clients right now, one day I was doing nothing, and then I had a thought of going onto this website, and I went onto the website and I saw a contact, and I just sent them an email, and it's a few months down the road and we've got a nice working relationship together. But that came again from doing nothing. I didn't wake up that day and think, oh shoot, I gotta get some more cash in the wazoo. I was just doing nothing, and then I had the thought, and then I did it. In the intro of this video, I said that I did a trip around Iceland for free. That came from doing nothing as well, because one day I was just sitting here on this couch actually. I was going to Iceland for something unrelated. I was running a marathon there. Then I was sitting here and I was thinking, why don't I just message every van company in Iceland and see if they'll give me a van and do some sort of video collaboration? And so I messaged all of them, and sure enough, one of them got back to me and was happy to give me a van. So when I refer to the art of doing nothing, I want to make it clear that there's two ways we can do nothing, in my opinion. One way is to fill your mind with nonsense. That would be social media scrolling. That would be gossiping. That would be using substances to excess. All of that is possibly going to prevent the muse from coming through, because there's not enough silence. There's not enough space, because it's filled up with all of this content, with all these other people's opinions. And the other version of doing nothing is to have a quieter mind. And that comes from going for a walk, going for a hike, going for a run even. Or one time I went for a cycle and I just heard in my mind, I'm a little bit fucked, but that's all right. And I was like, that's a song. I got to go make that song. I didn't even have my phone on me, so I couldn't even record it. So I was literally just singing it in my head for 6 kilometers, cycling back home. And then a couple of weeks later, this is what I made. Hope if I make it, I satiate this lust for life. Chasing highs, I'm a little bit fucked, but that's alright. I lie, long time. So an entire song came out of doing nothing, and that one is super fun to play, and I love performing that. And it just came out of nowhere. Another way that this whole concept of doing nothing has showed up for me is in my latest offering, which is my guided meditation series, which you can check out in the description. I was just sitting one day and I had a thought: create a musical healing experience and then tell your audience about it. Let them know that you've done these guided meditations. And so I thought, okay, I'll do that. I worked on the songs and produced all of the music, and it was hard at times, but ultimately I got it done and people have been enjoying it. And again, that came from nowhere. Like I didn't sit down and think, okay, what product are we gonna make? Like, let's come up with a list of 10 products and then find the best one out of those 10. I just did it. It was effortless. And in order for it to be effortless, you need to have little to no attachment toward the whole thing. I think the issue with modern day commerce or business or transaction is that we want everything to have a result as quickly as possible. That's just not the nature of the universe. Things come and things go at their own pace. An example I thought of to include in this video is, one of them is about dating and then the other one is about making money. So if I wanted to make money, I was like, oh shoot, I need to make money. My reaction based on this whole world and matrix would be like to go on a job board and try find a job the super linear way, and then apply to things and be like, oh, to whom it may concern, I'm very passionate about this. Like all of this fluff that is not, it's not me. Like I would never naturally do that. It's just because that's what society has conditioned me to speak like. And the point still stands is we want to just do things and get a result immediately, and we're not willing to step into uncertainty and be open to the possibility that maybe your new job opportunity is actually in the person that you say hi to when you're walking down by the beach, and he's like, oh, you look like a person who could help me with this task that I need help with. And then if we're looking in like the realm of dating, with dating apps, if I'm like, oh shoot, I want to date someone, I just download an app and expect that I'll be on a date by tomorrow. And it's like, maybe, but it's a bit of an unreasonable request, and there's too much masculine energy, there's too much thinking, analytical, linear thought process going on there. And in reality, these things need a bit more flow. Just because I want something right now, I don't necessarily need it. And even if I did get it, maybe it wouldn't be of service to me, like in the long game, in the sustainable picture. So the kind of nothing that I'm referring to here, you could call it active rest. And that's where these $1 million ideas can come in. And you don't need to try super hard for these ideas to come in. Just simply allow them to come in, take note of them, and then take action on it. Usually the old way I was trying, like the whole law of attraction manifestation way, would be you just sit and visualize stuff and you have ideas, but there's no, I was missing the action. I wasn't taking any action toward the ideas. So in the example of the song, or like the meditation series that I created, I had the idea and then I took the action to actually produce the music and to, write the lyrics and write the meditations or whatever. So that's the difference. Do nothing until the idea comes, and then take that idea and do something. But don't just be doing things because you think you're supposed to do them. It's probably going to be a waste of your energy because it's coming from a heady, analytical place rather than an integration of the two, the masculine and the feminine, action and creation. You can be in your head all day listening to all of the self-help videos on YouTube or podcasts and reading books and stuff, but if you don't act on any of that, there's no point. You'd be better off just acting than reading and consuming a bunch of stuff but not doing anything with it. You see, we've been pushed to believing that a sense of urgency and hustle and action are all required in order to achieve anything of greatness in this life. And at points, these things are helpful and useful, but only as part of a holistic system. You see, you can't replace the divine pace of things unfolding. We need rest, play, and discipline in order to achieve or progress toward anything of magnitude in this life. One without the other will have an imbalance. This is how we create a sustainable approach to life. Otherwise, you might burn out, or you just maybe enjoy it less than you could have otherwise. I'm just sharing what's worked for me. Take it or leave it. For now, I will leave you, wishing you well. Have a beautiful rest of your day. As I mentioned earlier, there's a newsletter. You can get it in the description. And also the meditation series is also down in the description. So check that out. Check out this video next. If you enjoyed this one, like, comment, subscribe, do all of those things. Have a beautiful day. You're an amazing person. Goodbye.